Hey guys, Jesse here. Really excited today. A couple reasons. One, I really want to thank like Anthony Esposito. I haven't been in this very long. I've been doing this for about 2 weeks, and he was my second person to actually subscribe to my page, other than my daughter. So I really appreciate that, man. For a guy like me, it means a lot getting into it. And Chris, thanks for responding, and you guys make me feel like I'm actually part of something, and I appreciate that. Second reason why I'm excited is I got a couple new things, and I know that some guys have pretty neat stuff, and me, I'm just getting into it. So this is like the most expensive brush I've ever bought, which is the Semogue Owners Club, and so I'm excited to use it. And I also am trying out the Aloha Smackdown from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, which is actually my first PAA to use, and so I'm excited about that. And so here we go, get into it. I already have the puck blooming, and I'm gonna rinse my face and get going. So the story I got tonight is pretty cool. This guy named Jep, he was kind of getting into figuring out who he was, and didn't realize a lot of the things about his childhood. He was actually born of a prostitute, and his father actually had a couple wives and had other sons by those wives, and man, that stuff smells really good. And just kind of felt like he was an outsider most of his life, and he really seemed like he was just didn't belong, and so Jep was kind of feeling that way. And sure enough, his, I guess, stepbrothers, they didn't help the situation by, making him feel like that, because they pretty much told him that he needed to get out. It was time for him to hit the road, that he wasn't even part of the family, that he was not even, he was from a different woman, not even the same mom. And so he was like, man, you guys, they were like really brutal. They said, you got to get out, and you can't be part of this family anymore. I mean, just really rejected him. And so kind of like a Cinderella story, but with guys, and or Cinderfella, like I can't even remember who that was that did Cinderfella. That was the Jerry Lewis, great movie. And so he ended up leaving, headed out of town, and decided he was going to go to a town that was basically, when you got right down to it, it was basically a bunch of rejects too. And so he went there, and like many of us young guys, when we get a little rejection, we end up with the wrong crowd. And sure enough, he did too. And got to doing things and horsing around, like all of us do, and because he felt like that was about the only way he could belong. Because, somebody had to like him, so why not these guys? Well, a little bit later, his brothers end up becoming soldiers, and their particular town was getting ready to go to war with another town, or another big nation. And so they were kind of going around looking for people to join up and fight with them, and they had heard about, they kind of kept tabs on their stepbrother and how he was kind of that kind of a guy to get into mischief, and was actually a pretty good fighter, and ended up being like the leader of his little group. And so they went looking for him. Well, they ended up finding him, and sure enough, you know, they had to eat a lot of crow, and they's like, man, we really need you to come back. And he said, well, what do you mean you need me to come back? You guys threw me out. They said, yeah. We did. And we're real sorry about that. I don't know if they really meant it right off or not, but they said it. And he was like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to come back. You guys threw me out. I don't really think you guys deserve me to come back. And they were like, listen, you come back. Not only will you fight with us, right alongside us, but we'll let you be our leader. It was like, holy cow, now you guys, not only did you reject me at first, but now you're really eating some crow by telling me you want me to be your leader. They were like, yeah, we really feel like you need to come back and fight with us. So, long story short, he goes and fights with them, and comes back and becomes their leader, you know, whatever, and fights with them, and they end up going to battle pretty good against this other town. Before they go to battle, the Jep, he sends a letter to that other town. He's like, listen, I don't know why you're fighting against us. We haven't done anything to you. There's really no reason to fight with us. You know, we traveled across this land, and we actually, you know, kind of went around you guys, dodged you guys, and battled some other people on the other side, so we wouldn't mess with you guys, and ended up inhabiting over here, and now you're coming over here to attack us. You know, and there's really no reason to, because, you know, we haven't really done anything to you. And the king on that side didn't really care. He was going to do it anyway. He was going to fight anyway. And so they went to battle, and sure enough, Jep's side, you know, they won. They whooped them pretty good. And you know, so he comes back home, and of course he's accepted. He becomes their leader, and he ends up leading until the day he dies. I think it was like 6 or 7 years he led Israel, and became their leader for that long. Now you think about that. Here's a guy who was really rejected. I mean, think about that for a minute. We do that all the time. We reject people because of their background, or something they've done, or something they didn't do, and we'll basically reject them. Ooh, got myself. And not even really consider why we've done it. And you know, it gets me, because we can really, you know, hurt people sometimes that way, and when we'd be better off, instead of rejecting people, accept people, you know. If we would, instead of reject and basically, you know, get them out of the way, we'd be better off if we accepted and embraced them. So I guess my story really leads to, I mean, think about it. There's always people in your life who you've kind of rejected. Maybe it's time for us to embrace and accept instead of reject. I guess that's basically it. I know there's been a lot of things that have gone on, it seems like, with all the posts that I've saw. And I'll tell you, you know, I've been part of a lot of things. And I've run a church now for quite a while. And, you know, the one thing I think that people need to do more is just realize that, you know, we're all human. We all make our mistakes, no matter what. We need to really care about people. And, you know, one thing I've noticed about being just a small part of this is just how awesome people have been to me and, you know, helped me. And whenever I've had a question, whether it be about whatever razor, whatever soap, whatever this, I can just go on there and everybody just so nice, and they'll just tell you, hey, this has worked for me, this didn't work for me, and not that it's not going to work for you. And in fact, Chris said something about the Aloha Smackdown. He said, hey, that, you know, that ended up irritating my face. Well, I'll be honest with you, there's a couple that I have that irritate my face. Classic, what are the razor rock? That stuff, for some reason, burns the snot out of me. And but it may work for everybody else. And so, you know what? I love Hawaiian Punch. So I thought I'd give it a shot. And it didn't burn me. So thanks, Chris, for the recommendation. It was awesome soap, great slickness. And, appreciate all that. Again, Stein, for making me feel like I'm part of something. Appreciate it, guys. That's all I got. Thanks to my daughter again for my intro. And now I got one that goes out. Talk to you later. Bye.
All time.